Welcome back into Sports Talk ATL. I am Chase Earl, joined by Alex Lord. I am so sick and tired of talking.
I'm sick and tired of hearing you say you're sick and tired.
I am. I can, this saga has got to end. It's not ending, at least anytime soon. But it's taken an odd turn today as Zach Klein, WSB TV, has reported that Kirk Cousins showed his pretty face at voluntary workouts. Now, Alex, why would Kirk Cousins do such a thing?
I think to probably add a little pressure, put a little pressure. His presence alone adds tension. It invites controversy. He doesn't even have to say anything. He doesn't even have to be a bad teammate. And everybody, I've already had 3 or 4 people tweet at me about how Kirk's not a bad teammate. Yeah, it was a bad contract, but he's not a bad teammate. He'll be a good teammate to Michael Penix. Yeah, that's not the point, guys. The point basically is that he is going to invite media members to start asking other players about him and his situation. They're going to be taking focus away from Michael Penix and the fact that this is his team now, and we're talking about what yesterday was, not today. And it's just more and more of not pulling on the same rope. The Falcons cannot get out of their own way and just everybody is trying to accomplish one task in Flowery Branch. I don't know if that's ever happened outside of 2017, 2016, those in 2015. At no point has it felt like in recent memory that every single person in Flowery Branch had one goal. It feels like everybody, and it's not like a selfishness thing. It's just a poorly constructed and ran organization, and that's just what happens. So it's not about Kirk going to go and being a jerk. It's about, this is not exactly what we should be talking about in April, in May. We shouldn't be talking about Kirk Cousins. We should be talking about Michael Penix, who we're drafting, and the future in Atlanta.
Yeah, I agree. And to me, for all the people, we are the people that say that this isn't some mischievous Kirk Cousins who's this devious little evil villain. I think that case that we have made up here takes a hit today because I don't see
he wants to leave.
Yeah, I don't see any other reason for him to be here except to cause problems, to create tension. And he doesn't have to do anything out of the ordinary. He just has to be there because it's just a reminder of, hey, this is just getting started. I can do this all the way up through training camp. I can just be here, hold a clipboard, look good in practice, look healthy. I can start that all right now. That shoulder injury wasn't an Achilles. I'm ready to go right now and play football. And I think all of that is just the dark cloud over Flowery Branch. And this is part of the risk that the Falcons took when they played this game. And now they're kind of in a tough spot because they don't really have a choice but to kind of dig their heels in like we said they were going to have to do if they went this direction, and just hope that someone gets desperate enough to need a quarterback. And Kirk Cousins, he understands the situation as well as anyone, and he understands that the tensions are going to be razor thin, way up there, tight roping around this situation while they're trying to develop a young quarterback, and that's good for nobody in the organization. And the more uncomfortable he can make it, the more it works out in his favor.
Yeah, I mean, I can see why he's doing it, and everybody is right in their own situations. The Falcons, Arthur Blank telling Kirk Cousins, hey man, we are not prioritizing you and your career right now. That's not the case. We are going to do what's best for the Atlanta Falcons. Raheem Morris, Terry Fontenot, they're right in what they're saying and doing. And believe it or not, guys, Kirk Cousins is also right in trying to apply a little pressure to get what he wants. Now, if your singular goal, which is ours, is that the Falcons are good, we just want the Falcons to be the best they possibly can be, then yeah, we agree. We disagree with Kirk. Stay at home in Alpharetta or at the Avalon, wherever you live. Just stay home. But put yourself in his shoes. You wouldn't stay at home and just help the team out. No. The first moment that you signed this contract, the franchise turned around and drafted your successor. If that were me, I wouldn't go out and, act actively try and destroy the team in terms of on the field performance, because that would impact me. But I certainly wouldn't be, I'm gonna take a backseat to the team.
It's not Kirk Cousins' fault that the Falcons gave him $100 million guaranteed.
Everybody is in the right in their perspective.
Unfortunately, they're two sides working against each other. Right. And this is it just goes back to the original decision, right?
I mean, they did it.
Yeah. It just goes, and it always goes back to the original decision. When we talk about all this stuff, when we said it was ridiculous that these things are going to come up and be a problem, and they came up a lot sooner than anybody anticipated, anybody wanted, especially after a 6-3 start. But once they replaced Michael Penix, and once Michael Penix looked good, Pandora's wasn't just open. Things were flying everywhere around Flowery Branch. Even if they did a pretty good job of saying "mum is the word" and saying the right things and doing what
and
the
that's
Falcons
not going to
do.
change. I wanted to piggyback off that. That's not going to change. Nobody should expect anything in terms of a PR standpoint to change from Raheem, Terry, Arthur, Kirk, Penix. Everybody is going to be a professional in this situation. And in your mind, you're thinking, it doesn't matter. That's still the point that I'm trying to make, that you're still inviting the questions, and you don't think that some young cat who isn't some, 10-year veteran isn't going to have something in the back of his head where, he sees Penix have a bad game and he goes, I've been seeing Kirk dice up the second team defense. That's the point, is we're not all pulling on the same rope.
Is it ironic that this also happens the day after that the Falcons signed Easton Tick, which immediately sparked, theories to run wild that maybe a trade was in place? And it's almost like Kirk showing up also says, hey, there ain't no trade in place. Yep. I'm still here. Yep. I'm still here, guys. I ain't going anywhere, and they better trade me, or this is only going to get a lot worse. They do have Easton Stick. He will be playing probably. I mean, that's the other interesting aspect in all of this. Like, if Kirk's showing up to voluntary workouts, and that's what I'm saying. There's a good chance he might be the backup quarterback. How do you balance that scenario?
But then when we get into training camp, you're playing this, balancing act where you're like, we need Kirk to be ready in case Penix goes down, but also we kind of want to be like, screw you, Kirk.
And we also might need Easton Stick to be ready, because if an opportunity comes around
and we trade Kirk, we need, it's a great situation, Falcons.
mean, it really is. It's tough. It's tough, which is why I go back to the scenario when we were talking about, okay, maybe the Falcons' best case scenario after we know that we're going to try to trade Kirk Cousins is that we dig our heels in. And I said, yes, I agree. If we end up trading him late in the offseason and can alleviate some of this cap hit, as well as get some sort of draft compensation, obviously that's the best case scenario. But when you see all this stuff happening, I was just kind of like, release him. Just let him go. It was a mistake. We screwed up. Let him go. The Falcons didn't do that. We got a lot more to talk about coming up after the break.